I would be lying if at this point I said I take no pleasure in watching what's happening to the Marvels and Kevin Feige, the MCUs are just getting ready for this utter humiliation that's just right around the corner. And Kevin Feige is absolutely desperate, trying to just drive people away from it. And, like I said, desperate times call for desperate measures. And it looks like Kevin Feige is getting very desperate. He's doing one of those old bag of tricks to where you don't want people to realize just how bad the movie is. So they're not allowed to review it. And he's also adding new post-credit scenes that are going to introduce something that I think 5 years ago people would have lost their minds over. At this point in time, I don't know if that's going to be as effective, but let's talk about this train wreck that's ongoing that we're watching in real time. And I don't want to see this happening, but now that it's happening, I am taking a little bit of enjoyment. I don't want to lie about this completely. The following post on X, formerly known as Twitter, has confirmed Disney effectively has a review embargo in place for the Marvels. The follow-up Captain Marvel adventure that will team this cosmic character with popular teen superhero Miss Marvel. While it's possible that the House of Mouse is trying to sidestep another round of review bombing, there's also a serious chance the movie is a mess and they wish to hide the fact as long as possible. The reviews drop on November 8th, and the film officially releases on Friday, November 10th. This is a tried and true classic attempt from the studio to hide the fact that they've got an absolute just bloodbath on their hands. It turns out the Marvels is as bad, likely, as everyone has been speculating for a long time. We've been hearing about all the behind-the-scenes stuff. It turns out that Brie Larson's ego was a little bit bigger than it probably should have been. She didn't really like sharing, I guess, the title with Miss Marvel or with Monica Rambeau. Apparently, she didn't get along behind the scenes with the co-stars of the movie. Apparently, it didn't test very well. I think they had to do a tremendous amount of reshoots, especially the ending. We've heard that time and time again. And now there's no more chopping to be done. The movie is what it is. And Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have come to the conclusion that it's likely not a good movie. So they don't want to poison the well ahead of time and let reviewers actually get the word out whether or not you should watch it or not. We've certainly seen a lot of studios do this when they know a movie isn't very good and they're like, yeah, you actually can't review it or release your review until the day before. We have certainly seen other studios, like if the movie looks like it's not going to perform well, but they do have faith in it, they would have like the reviews come out 2 and 3 weeks ahead of time to hopefully generate some type of buzz and word of mouth, like, hey, you know that movie we weren't interested in? We lost faith in the brand or whatever. It turns out it sounds like it's good. Maybe we should go and give people the opportunity to second guess not going. In this case, they don't want to give MCU fans the opportunity to second guess whether they should go or not by letting people know just how bad it is. And, I don't blame Kevin Feige. I don't imagine he set out to make a really bad sequel to a movie that made well over $1 billion, although that was a lot of AstroTurf. You were told Captain Marvel was must-see if you wanted to understand Endgame. Endgame was the biggest movie of all times. It felt like the must-see conclusion to a movie franchise, perhaps in my lifetime, although I guess the Empire or Return of the Jedi came out while I was still alive, so maybe that was the one. But it's right there up there. The enthusiasm, the speculation, everyone excited for Endgame, obviously raise the box office of Captain Marvel, and there's nothing left to actually disguise what the Marvels is. So they just don't want people to hear about it. Now, he is adding something at the very end that I imagine Kevin Feige believes will get people talking about the movie and excited that they're going to get to see something they never thought they would. Per rumors currently being circulated by users on both Twitter and Reddit, this surprise post-credit scene allegedly sees the MCU's version of Monica Rambeau being flung across time and space to Earth 10,005, otherwise known as the home universe of Fox's various X-Men films. Blacking out upon completing her trip across the multiverse, Monica eventually awakens to find herself safely within the X-Mansion's underground facilities and in the care of both Kelsey Grammer's Beast and the local incarnation of her mother Maria, presumably portrayed once again by Lashana Lynch, otherwise known as her universe's version of Binary. So there you go. We're finally going to get, we got the first X-Man, we got the first mutant with Kamala Khan, but we haven't had a connection between the MCU and the actual Fox X-Men movies, which were very up and down. We had some tremendous successes like X-Men, X2, Days of Future Past, X-Men First Class, and some really enormous failures among that. I would say X3 being the biggest failure, although Age of Apocalypse was absolutely terrible. Also, what was the other really bad one? Oh, Wolverine X-Men Origins. That thing was absolutely trash. But they're finally going to connect the two. Yes, we are going to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. I don't even know if Deadpool 3 is part of the MCU. I'm sure they'll connect it somehow because they got to connect everything. But we're finally going to see a real X-Men from the Fox X-Men movies, not just play a cameo to get slaughtered within the Multiverse of Madness, where we saw Charles Xavier in the classic yellow. It's not really a wheelchair, is it? It's like a hover chair or something like that. But he didn't last very long. And obviously, this is introducing the idea that there is a connection there, and we'll see Monica Rambeau meeting up with Kelsey Grammer's Beast. I thought Kelsey Grammer being cast as Beast was like can't miss. You know, Beast has this like a blue crazy look to him. He looks completely ferocious, but when you hear him speak, he's a complete gentleman, and he's got this like really crazy cadence to his voice. And Kelsey Grammer, I can't imagine having a better voice for the character. But X3 was such a bad movie. I think people didn't get to truly appreciate just what great casting Kelsey Grammer as Beast was. And then obviously we got the reincarnation with Nicholas, I don't know, whatever that British guy's name is that played Beast in the like prequel type of movies. He was pretty good too. So this I think would have been super exciting. Maybe if they've done this like right out of the gate once Disney acquired Fox and had the rights to those movies and those characters, if they had thrown a cameo right in the end, I think people probably would have lost their minds. But it's been, you know, a couple, 3 years at this point, and probably too little too late. And I don't believe a Kelsey Grammer Beast cameo in a post-credit scene of the Marvels is going to really move the needle as far as helping to save this movie, which is, it looks like the ultimate train wreck and just an enormous financial loss, especially once you find out what the budget is. The budget just, I guess, ballooned up. That's probably the reason the lights are off, is because of COVID or whatever. And they're going to lose so much money on this one. And, you know, I don't blame Feige also for doing this, throwing a Hail Mary post-credit scene in there that will connect the MCU to the original Fox X-Men movies. But it's definitely too little too late. And but I think people will be excited when they do see it. But I don't think anyone will be excited enough to actually go see the movie that wasn't planning to. And, you know, like I said, Kevin Feige is absolutely desperate. They understand the Marvels is likely to be an enormous humiliation, considering Captain Marvel went over $1 billion. And this thing is going to come nowhere close. In fact, the Marvels releases in theaters this November. But how much money is it expected to bring in? According to tracking estimates posted by the Hollywood Reporter, the Marvels is looking like it will bring between $75 million and $80 million for its North American debut. For comparison, 2019's Captain Marvel earned $153.4 million for its opening weekend stateside. A Marvel superhero film hasn't opened to less than $80 million since Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018. And I'll be completely honest, Ant-Man and the Wasp was one of the really first big misses. That was not a good movie. And, you know, Captain Marvel isn't supposed to be an Ant-Man level character. Captain Marvel is supposed to be an Iron Man level character. Captain Marvel is supposed to be a Captain America level character. And I believe, you know, Kevin Feige and the people at Marvel Studios, even at Disney, likely thought the MCU was beyond a character of that stature and that power sinking to the levels of 2018 Ant-Man and the Wasp. And, you know, it's not looking very good. It's likely to bring in, I'll be surprised if it even does half of the worldwide box office of Captain Marvel, which is well over $1 billion. You know, originally I thought it would do like 650 million, but it's tracking so lowly, and the indicators are out there that the movie is so poor that the word of mouth is going to be so bad. You know, it probably doesn't even sniff 500 million when it's all said and done, and they're in a lot of trouble considering they thought Captain Marvel was supposed to be a big deal. And then it sounds like Brie Larson is done playing Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel. I think she's just done dealing with the expectations of Marvel fans and the expectations of MCU fans, you know, that the actors actually bring it. The actors actually emote when they're on screen, do heroic things, and then don't go out of their way to actually go out there and trash people. And yes, they mentioned in the beginning of that article, like review bombing. They want to avoid review bombing. But we all know, while review bombing might be a thing, we definitely know that review fluffing is a thing, that Disney was going out there and paying people to give overly nice reviews to their movies and their products, you know, and fluffing things up so it would look better than it is. And I don't know that they're going to be able to hide this one. Even the biggest shills of late, I wouldn't say they've been turning on Marvel and the MCU and Kevin Feige or even Captain Marvel, But I think they have come to the realization that you can't continuously lie to people. You actually can't say that bad stuff is good and maintain your reputation and maintain your readership and maintain your audience and maintain any semblance of a relationship with your customers that they can actually trust on you to be honest about these things. And I think that's why a lot of people are turning more to YouTubers and stuff, because I don't work for a company that's in the pocket of Disney. I don't work for a company that's in the pocket of Marvel Studios. I don't care if Kevin Feige appreciates my reviews or my comments or my perspective on anything. I don't want to go to a red carpet. I don't want to be invited to the premiere of the Marvels. It would do nothing for me. I don't even live in America. So I could give two shits less what anybody in Hollywood or any of these guys think about me. And I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people are turning to YouTube, is because they know they really can't trust like Collider and some of these other places anymore, because they're all review fluffing, hoping to establish relationships and likely, be in the good graces of Kevin Feige and Disney and whatnot. And I think that's one of the reasons that people have lost faith, in the MCU. And even if the reviews for Captain Marvel's sequel, The Marvels, is good, which I don't believe they will be, I think they're hiding the reviews for a reason because they know they're going to be bad. People just don't trust that stuff anymore. Will there be review bombing? Perhaps. Will there be review fluffing? Absolutely. That's absolutely going to happen. And they're going to lose a whole lot of money because the budget for the Marvels is astronomical. Just thinking about the budget for what the Marvels is, they will likely lose money. And that's not even taking into account the marketing budget that's also gone into this, which is likely in the hundreds, if not $200 million. And you might have even gotten a trailer for the Marvels during this video right here, as we're trying to get the word out before people realize just how bad this movie is. As I said, that budget for the Marvels is just insane, like everything else at Disney. I broke it all down right here, talking about just what an enormous folly this was on their hands, that they believe that the Captain Marvel, like $1 billion, was something they could replicate, without Endgame. There's also a link in the video description.